Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here. And welcome to Friday. Welcome to Friday's dceu dailies. It's early in the morning. I can barely get my words out. I'm very, very under the influence still. So let's see if we can get through this together, because I'm here because I love DC, I love the DCEU, I love Superman and I love Batman, and I know you do. So we are in changing times within the DCEU. But what's really going on here? Let's talk about yesterday's so-called news. So we wake up, or you Americans, it would have been your evening, your mornings or whatever, and we see, basically Deadline.com seem to have all the breaking news all the time. So they were saying something along the lines of blah, blah, blah. The Batman will launch on June the 21st, will be released June the 21st. Ben Affleck stands aside for a younger Batman. And basically then Affleck quote tweets this, as we discussed yesterday, cannot wait to see Matt Reeves' vision of the Batman. Here's the thing, and Chris Wong on Ping Pong Flicks made a great point yesterday on his show. Chris, if you still watch, if you've ever watched this video, my videos, you're awesome. But anyway, he made a great point. If you actually analyse, and you don't even have to analyse it or look for it, surely Ben is like every other Hollywood actor. He would have taken that opportunity to thank the fans, to say goodbye. It's been great. I think Ben Affleck is in the Batman. I do. I'm sorry. I think Ben Affleck's in the Batman. Now, this is interesting because not Warner Brothers, even though after yesterday and what Affleck said yesterday, which wasn't a lot, by the way, Warner Brothers haven't said anything. Matt Reeves hasn't come out to say, yeah, well, Ben's been a great Batman. Now I hope I can, do him justice with this younger Batman. Nothing confirming that Ben Affleck is not going to be in this film. Now, I said yesterday, him quote tweeting it is like him saying, well, I'm not in this movie. No, I think this confirms just one thing. We're getting a younger Batman in this film. We're getting a younger Batman. They're casting someone new for this. By the way, a lot of people talking about Arnie Hammer at 32. Forget it. Forget Arnie Hammer. Never going to happen. Look, Arnie Hammer is a good-looking lad. Believe me. Very good-looking lad. Great, he looks good on camera and stuff. But first of all, he isn't Batman, and he's too old now. He's too old. They're looking for a younger Batman. They're looking from someone, I would say, between 24 and 22. I think he has to be that young. Again, people in who read the comics can get down in the comments and tell me how old Batman actually was when he first becomes Batman. That'll be interesting. Is he going to be a younger Batman? Are we talking about a younger Bruce Wayne here? We really don't know. So if we get back to this Ben Affleck situation, so everyone's saying he's left. I don't think that's the case. I think what we all thought from the beginning, and all the rumours were coming out, about how we're going to see his older version thinking back to his younger days. So I think we'll start off with Ben's Batman. He'll discover an old kind of enemy or something, or a mystery, maybe one he never solved. And he looks back to trying to investigate that. We know that most of the rogues gallery are going to be in this film. So I believe, I'm not saying I'm brave for saying this. Because I saw Chris Wong say it yesterday. But seeing what he was saying made absolute sense. And I think Chris is one of the few people who didn't make a monkey out of himself yesterday. I think a lot of us YouTubers and lots of bloggers out there, again, insinuating and assuming that Affleck's gone. I mean, I was watching a video. Who is it? The Star Wars girl. Sometimes I like her. Sometimes I don't. She's a good girl and everything. She's a very talented artist and everything. I like her. But she knows jack shit about superheroes or Batman or anything like that. She's mostly a Star Wars fan, and she was so happy cheering on her video and everything. Which I think is a bit unkind, but that's life, isn't it? She hated Batman v Superman. She's, of course, entitled to do that. I love Batman v Superman. But, you may say, well, Mick, you love Zack Snyder, you love Ben Affleck. Let me be clear here. I'm a fan of Zack Snyder. I'm a fan of what he did within the DCEU. I love Ben's Batman, of course I do. But my biggest fandom is for DC and their films and their characters. I have no loyalty to any one director. or any actor. I love them. I wish they could have stayed and we could have had a successful franchise and we would have got Zack's Justice League trilogy. But unfortunately, that never happened. I'm happy to move on and enjoy Man of Steel, keep on enjoying Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. And I think you should have that mindset too. But this is not biased. This is not wishful thinking. I'm someone who can let go of things. I really am. But there's actually been no confirmation that Ben's leaving. Ben hasn't actually said he's leaving. I think it's as we thought from the beginning. Ben is going to be in this movie. I think I'm quite happy with that. I'm happy with the decision. Look, I'm happy to back the decisions Matt Reeves makes in this movie. I truly believe that Ben's going to be in this movie. You know, the only thing that's confirmed here is, as I say, that we're getting a younger actor as Batman, around 24, 22. That's my prediction anyway. So that's how I feel about it. But, I mean, obviously, comment down below. Let me know what you think. Do you think I'm just being biased? Do you think it's wishful thinking? Now, Matt Reeves spoke about something very interesting when I read out his interview to the Hollywood Reporter. And that was that there's going to be a transformation here for the character of the Batman, for Bruce Wayne. What is he talking about? Is he talking about transformation figuratively? I can't say long words sometimes. I really wanted to be able to sound clever and say that word. Shall I try again? Does he mean transformation figuratively? No, I can't do it. Forget it. Anyway, you know what I mean. So what does he mean by transformation, basically? Does he mean a transformation emotionally? Or does he mean a transformation on the outside? Could we actually see a reason within this film that actually shows us why this younger actor will remain Batman? Will this be Ben Affleck's goodbye to the Batman character? I think they're actually going to give us a reason why Ben Affleck will no longer be Batman in the DCEU in this film. Don't forget, Wonder Woman 1984 will be released before the Batman in 2020. If Grace Randolph and her sources are right, there's some kind of flashpoint situation that's going to happen, and that is the reason it's been delayed. Of course, that could be bullshit. We're talking about the internet here. But Grace Randolph sometimes is right, sometimes she's not. It'll be interesting. In fact, she's doubled down on that theory. Doubled down actually means that she's actually intensifying, actually reconfirming that she agrees with that theory. Doubled down's a weird phrase, isn't it? Because it sounds like someone's backing off from something. It should be doubled up. Anyway, a conversation for another time. Yes. So going back to Bruce Wayne, going back to Batman, going back to the Batman and Matt Reeves, I think, so this is my theory. This is my theory, guys and girls and you in between. I believe that Ben Affleck will be in this film, that he will have flashbacks to his younger days as Batman, as Bruce Wayne, and something will happen within that film that we stick with the younger Batman and to enable Ben Affleck not to be in the movies anymore. Why would Ben Affleck not be Batman? I think it's a Warner Brothers decision. I think it's a Walter Hamada decision. And partly probably a Ben Affleck decision. I think when you're in a franchise, more than one film, you have to commit yourself. Alcoholism is a disease. Ben is fighting an ongoing disease. Now, he's winning the fight right now, but he could start losing it again. And I think with the problems he's had, I think it's just best that he moves away. I think just for the property, for the IP, and for himself. I love him as Batman, but I think a lot of you will be upset. You won't agree with me saying this. Maybe you'll unsubscribe. I have to respect your right to unsubscribe and not watch my videos. I personally feel it's the right time. Aquaman is the first billion-dollar movie within the DCEU. We are in a new situation here. I do want some clarity by Walter Hamada. I do want him to come out within an interview with the Hollywood Reporter and kind of direct his voice towards the fans and tell them what we're getting here. You know, to be open about the opening segment of the DCEU. You know, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman and Justice League. Talk about them openly and talk about what we can expect from the future. We need this. But that's my theory on the Batman. I believe nothing we found out yesterday was solid enough to confirm that Ben Affleck isn't in this movie. So I basically think he is in this movie. He's the older current day Batman who's flashing back in this movie. Please let me know what you think about this. The DCEU is in a very strange time. It's a scary time for the fans, isn't it? Because it's change. It's change for this franchise. This is how I feel about the change. I feel that I love every member of my DCEU family. I love your love for Zack Snyder, Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, and the rest of them. But here's the thing. There's so many DC fans out there, everyone. And they deserve to get from their heroes what they want as well. I think the decisions that Walter Hamada is making right now are for the the varied DC hardcore fans out there. I love you DCEU fans, I'm one of you, but I'm also a DC fan as well. And I think every DC fan, every member of the mainstream cinema going audience has the right to see the DC characters and films that they want to see done in the way they want to see. There is a space for every mentality here, every time. The DCEU doesn't have to be one thing. Now, the Warner Brothers chairman has already said that. He said they're going to be focusing on the movies rather than a connective franchise. I agree with that. I grew up in an era where people used to make films and focus on the actual film and the quality of that film. These are very exciting times for the DCEU, DC films. And instead of people saying they're going to get off the train, I think more people are getting on the train. And it excites me. It excites me a great deal.